Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWitt.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWitt.
Good day.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about how fewer details and more big picture mindset is going to get you where you need to be. Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
This question ties in perfectly to what I'm talking about today.
Excellent.
Pete asked, the vesting deed reads, Lazy KV Estates, Block GG, Lot 4C, $250. On the assessor's website, they have it written for the legal description as Lazy KV Estates, filing number 3, Block GG, Lot 4C, containing 3.5 acres. Rec number, you guys get the picture, FKA, frequently known as.
Fascinating stuff.
For lots 4, 5, 6. Any advice on which one I should use? Thanks in advance for any help that can be offered. It's my first deal.
Whoa.
Key there. So I'm a little nervous about making a mistake.
All right. You get a free pass, Pete, because it's your first deal.
Right. So number 1, don't get hung up on details. Number 2, the vesting deed to me looks wrong because the $250, we never have dollar amounts on properties, what we paid. You know, the one Jack I know is going to explain more on that. So do you want to jump in here first?
Go ahead.
All right. So
let's answer the question. Which one should we use?
The assessor's website legal description.
I disagree.
You don't.
I absolutely. I love when we disagree about some of this stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that $250 on there.
Here's why. We all know. Jill's right, by the way. Jill's right. The assessor's database, it has a correct legal description. But the recorder, if they reviewed it all, is really going to have a lot to say about the legal description not matching the vesting deed. Mm-hmm. So the answer is this. Jill and I are both right. Call the recorder and ask them.
Make sure.
The right way to do it is the actual legal description from the database.
Right.
But there could be some confusion depending on how the recorder feels about it.
The bottom line is, Pete, whoever did that vesting deed clearly did it wrong.
That's right.
And
that's exactly right.
That's where the confusion started. So whoever did the deed, you know, they obviously, it's like they made up some of their own information, and why they added the money on there is weird. That's just, you never do that. I have never in my life seen a vesting deed or a deed of any kind that has a dollar amount in a legal description. That's not what that's for, too. So the legal description is to describe where the property is. That's really what it is. Mm-hmm. It's a technical term, and sometimes legal descriptions will be like this. They'll have the size in there. They will have a subdivision name and a lot and that information. And sometimes they go way back to meets and bounds, or they'll even go to beginning at this tree on this hill. If you really want to go way back, that used to be how they described them in some situations. You know, 40 paces to this rock, to this corner, to that. So, but
in Texas, it's all based on where the railroad tracks are, right. Literally. It's not a meets and bounds state.
Right.
Here's the thing, man. As an entrepreneur, which all of you are, and Jill and I are, this kind of crap is offensive. I'm going to be real straight.
It's offensive?
Yeah, it offends
Why?
me. Because who cares?
Oh.
You know, you can pay $200 or $300 for a real estate deal for a title agent to complete this whole thing.
Right.
Or you can use one of the resources in the Land Investors collection that we provide for you. So Pete's new, and he, like I said, he gets a free pass, but these kinds of questions are not what this is for. It's not what Success Plan is for. These are tiny little detail-oriented questions about, you know, we're happy to answer.
I get it.
But we should be talking about how to increase deal flow. Really, this is what this show is about.
I get it. Well, no, Pete's like, again, but everybody was new once. And everybody needs to know one time But, and having said that, this is information that we provide, which is you should be copying the grantor exactly how it was, even if it's spelled wrong.
Copy the vesting.
So, and in this situation, though, I mean, I'm with you. So, but pick up the phone. That's, but that's seriously, that's the best thing. Go to the source, pick up the phone and say, hey, hey, recorder, XYZ County. This person clearly did something wrong because what the assessor has and what's on the deed are two different things. What would you like me to put?
Yeah.
So it's going to go through smoothly and not going to get rejected and everybody's clear.
So the last sentence of Pete's question is, it's my first deal, so I'm a little nervous about making a mistake. Mm-hmm. And this is the mindset that's in the title of this episode. Mm-hmm. I want you to go into these deals with the fact that you are going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And accept it long before you even make the mistakes, because you're going to make a mistake. I'm going to tell you a real short story. I've said it before on the show. I'm going to make it brief. Jill and I were at a dinner party about several months ago, and one of our good friends, their teenage daughter, was there, and she's about to drive. And I asked her if she's got a car yet, and she said, I'm going to use my mom's car and my parents' old car. And I said, good, then you don't have to wreck a new car. And she looked at me horrified. I said, you are going to get in a pretty serious accident. Statistically, that's what 16-year-old drivers do. And she just was horrified, almost in tears. And I said, it's going to happen. So make it count and make sure you don't get hurt. So I want you to go into these real estate deals with the same. You are going to screw some stuff up. Hopefully you're not going to make lose a lot of money, but nobody does stuff perfectly the first time.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
That's the mindset you
That's a good point, too. So you know what? You make a mistake, they send it back, and they need you with a sticky note. Boy, we've all been there. Big deal. And you know what? I like that. Don't get hung up on it. Expect to get it returned. You know what else? Especially, you're going to fill out the check wrong one time. You're going to forget to do the fee for this. That's okay. They're going to send it back with a nice sticky note telling you what to do. And what I would say to hedge this off is put your phone number in there. So when you sticky note, send these in, make sure they can call you, because 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of really, really, really good recorders out there. And if your phone number's in there with a nice note saying, hey, if there's anything I missed, call me, I'll fix it. They'll pick up the phone and call you, and they'll say, hey, I need a check for an extra $2. You're off by $2. And instead of sending it all back, I'll put it on the side of my desk. You send me a check for $2, and then we'll go through just fine. You're going to go, oh my goodness, thank you.
And that's the mindset that the show is really about. Mm-hmm. If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landinvestors.com. Today's topic, fewer details, more mindset. This is the meat of the show. Jill came up with this title.
I did. I see people getting hung up on details. And just like this question, don't sweat the small stuff. I know it's silly and we've heard it 1,000 times, but it's very true. Be prepared for those little mistakes. Don't get bogged down in the details. That's my thing. So if you sit and pore over every one transaction and go over every single detail and spend 3 days on every transaction, you're getting one deal done a week, and that's not what you should be doing. You need to think big picture and what the mindset is, just be ready, do everything you can, be smart about stuff, be efficient about it, and fix little mistakes.
If you're not entirely and thoroughly embarrassed about the first 3 real estate deals that you do, the first website you launch, maybe the first girl that you marry, if you're not completely
Jack. I have something to say about that. Go ahead.
And look at yourself in the mirror and hang your head, say, man, then you're not trying hard enough.
I just read something today about, I think it's Greg Allman Brothers, who was married to Cher for a brief period, who just passed on recently. And he had quoted saying that he finally found love in his 7th wife. I'm not kidding. I didn't realize the guy was
that out loud.
It was a quote in this magazine I was just reading, and I'm like,
what kind of magazine were you reading?
Well, you know what kind of magazine I was reading. I was in the doctor's office, and I'm like, and I'm like, he was married 7 times.
I'm going to send you to the doctor's office with a textbook.
I thought that was so funny. So speaking of fewer details, more mindset, just keep getting married till you get it right. You know? No.
And then it killed him.
Maybe. So, oh my goodness.
Maybe the 6 wives before that.
No. And he was married to Cher.
Hey,
It's hilarious.
all kidding aside,
Oh my goodness.
don't worry about the details. Ask the questions and choose the right venue for the right questions. So vesting deeds and stuff. There's title agents. Title agents are some of the most hardworking, overlooked, unrespected group of people I've ever seen, and underpaid, by the way. They know everything. And if you call them, it's not like a real estate agent. And the real estate agents are diametrically the opposite. They're grossly overpaid and pretty much don't do anything for their money. And they just try to look good.
Literally.
And speak well, literally.
And drive nice cars.
Yeah, that they can't afford usually. My little sister's a very successful real estate agent, and I said this to her like a year ago. I said, she
doesn't drive a fancy car.
I said, what's the deal with, she's like, look, here's the thing with real estate agents. They either fail or they make so much money they don't know what to do with it. And she's in the latter. But she said for some reason there's just nothing in the middle. So
that's so funny.
Anyway, my point is, don't worry about doing this stuff perfectly or even doing it right. Just get through it. Get through the first few deals and make sure that you're learning, that your mind is open and not closed.
You just said what I was going to say.
Oh,
That's
go ahead.
it. No, it's perfect. I see so many people that a deal comes along and they're all excited and they get in their own way. Sometimes people create their own problems with their own details. I'm like, why are we even talking about this? So what? Do your best guess and move on. Now, this does not mean you get a free pass to half-ass do what you should be doing.
Free pass to half-ass.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. That's the name of the show.
So, like the way Jack, no, just kidding. Like Jack's whatever philosophy. No. Oh, you are writing this down. That's right. So this is not a free pass to just like, I did I gave it 50% effort. No, that's not the right thing. But don't go 150% and make sure, like just the person that's signing the deed, don't ask for ID, birth certificate, passport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people can do that. Are you married? Are you sure? Were you once married? Are you sure they're not involved? That kind of detail. It's not maybe not the best example, but I see people doing a version of that. Getting in their own way. And that is my whole point here is you know what you're doing. You know what it is? I think people get nervous. I think that's really where it comes from. They're like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm nervous. You know what? You're going to be just fine. If you make a mistake, we'll recover. We're right here. We're going to catch you. You're not going to fall that far.
That's right.
And you're going to be fine.
You're probably not doing it right. So what? I learned this from Jill, by the way. I was all uptight like this before I met her. Yeah, you're not going to do it right. So what? Nobody's judging you. At least you're doing it.
Exactly.
It's way better than not doing it.
You know what? And I like it when you make these mistakes, especially if it's a big one. Hey, do it right, man. If you
make it count.
Yeah, oh boy. And you know what? You'll only do that once. Have I made some mistakes? I'm like, well, I remembered that one. I'm not doing that again. That's okay. And you move on.
Here's a mistake you do not want to make. All kidding aside here. Price. You do not want to overpay for a piece of real estate, which is why we say on the first several deals that you're going to do, you need to be running to the bank because you can't believe the seller is so crazy to sell this property for you so cheap. So that is a mistake that everybody takes very seriously, and you do not want to make it even on your first deal, especially on your first deal.
You know what, though? And I've got to say, I'm sure people have made that mistake. And so
don't let it stop
do
you
more deals. You know what? Yeah, if you do, because I have talked to people. This is a good point that you brought up. Like I've talked to people who were just found us and like they called me like kind of asking advice and kind of figuring what we're all about. And we're talking to someone going, I can't sell this property. How do you guys sell properties so easy? I'm like, so I was digging deeper and asking questions. Well, the guy did overpay. I mean, he didn't know anything about us. He thought it was a good deal. He had no idea even how to check it. And did overpay. And then he's advertising it in one place. I'm like, that's why it's not selling. You overpaid and you put it on Craigslist and you think someone's going to find it and want it? No. And you need to, at this point, you got to cut your losses and move on.
Right.
You know, you may have to take a hit on that one, but now you know, and it was good. He is in our world, in our community, and now he's with, now he recovered, and now, and now 10 deals later, who cares about that one?
Who cares?
Exactly.
10 girls later, who cares about the first one?
Jack, why does it always come back to girls?
I don't know. 10 cars later.
Thank you.
Let's
10
use
helmets later. Oh my gosh.
Helmets?
Oh, I was just thinking about that today. I'm getting in the car and I'm like, I wonder how many helmets Jack has bought in the last 2 years. Probably almost 10. Because I looked at your motorcycle and I'm like, oh, look at that helmet.
That's
I wonder.
the right helmet.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you have to go through a few.
Yes, you do. That's funny. You don't go through shoes. You go through helmets and women.
How many
apparently.
shoes? How many shoes have you have? How many shoes have you got?
I see. Well, you know what? That was going to be my argument. Now that we're talking about it, I'm like, you know what? Next time you look at me about my shoes, I'm going to say helmets, and you're going to go, never mind.
Yep. No, actually, for a girl, you don't have that many pairs of shoes.
No, because now we're really close to the beach, so half of my shoes are sandals and flip-flops.
My God, Jill, we went to this event earlier this week, and I put a pair of shoes on for the first time in 2 weeks.
Right. Your kid number 3 even said, "What are those on your feet?"
I know. We must be doing something right if we
That's
don't wear.
true.
I don't have any shoes on right now.
Exactly. Neither do I.
Awesome.
Yep.
If you have a question, I can't read. See, I made a mistake, and I don't care.
That's okay.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
an inspiration, and I'll save you, that's me,
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Okay, Jack, that's show number 482, and it's still not memorized.
I know it's not.
Just gotta ask.
Because I formed a habit of reading a script because we do other things besides this podcast, believe it or not.
Oh.
Want to hear a secret about me?
I do.
I was really hung up about doing stuff properly and perfectly in my younger years. I think a lot of younger people are. I think you learn that in school.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, everybody judges you on your grades and they expect them to be perfect, and it's silly.
Oh.
That's not the way the world is. Best thing you can do is fail one time after another and learn to just not take it personally and just get through it and get to the thing that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you're going to find the utopia of whatever you're looking for.
I get it. You're right. I mean, there was a time in my life where I was kind of a perfectionist, I'll admit it. And then I went the other direction and I'm like, whatever. And then you kind of recover and you find your groove. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do my best, but I'm not going to get hung up about it and beat myself up if I make a mistake.
Is that where you are now?
Yes, it is.
Me too.
Thanks.
You look pretty.
Thank you.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We're the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land.
for half price just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.